Here comes Susie Sausage Head. So, let me tell y'all about the time Susie Sausage Head was on her way to her friend's place. She was speeding through town on icy roads and fuming due to an argument she'd had with her then boyfriend the night before. The disagreement between the two had been so bad that he decided to spend the night at his friend's place. This friend of her boyfriend also happened to be the boyfriend of Susie's friend where she was on her way to now. In other words, they were best couple friends. Anyways, she confirmed via phone that morning that indeed her boyfriend was out all night with his friend and was currently passed out on the couch. Susie herself had spent the evening crying until she went to sleep, anticipating her boyfriend laying there next to her when she woke up, ready to work it out. So, imagine her dismay when she woke up alone. Dismay turned to disbelief. Disbelief turned to devastation. And this is where we find Susie on a cold winter morning, devastated and dangerously driving toward disaster. For her part, Susie Sausagehead thought she had all of the high ground. She had stayed home instead of running when the argument got too heated. She did not stay away all night. She was not acting suspiciously. She was responsible and she was right. Susie also knew that currently her boyfriend was hung over and trying to sleep it off. It was, after all, about 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Somebody better pray for him, because Susie was now pulling into the parking lot and asking her friend to unlock the door. Susie's friend begged Susie not to make too much of a fuss. This was, after all, an apartment complex on a Sunday morning. Of course, Susie agreed not to be too much of a bother, and she really meant it. She just planned on dumping all of his wet clothes on him while he was sleeping, shoes included. Why was everything wet? Well, that's because Susie took the liberty of introducing her boyfriend's belongings to the beautiful snow outside. Susie Sausagehead was not crazy enough to destroy all of her friend's belongings. Just those items she referred to as his player's gear. Those items he wore most when his riz was peaking. Who was he trying to impress anyway? Well, that didn't matter now because she had all of his best swag in her arms, trying to carefully navigate the icy stairs leading to the apartment door. Sure enough, when she reached the door, it was slightly ajar. Her friend had elected to lock herself in a bedroom with her boyfriend's friend to avoid whatever was about to go down in the living room. Good, Susie thought to herself. No one to hold me back. With this in mind, Susie yeeted cold, wet clothes onto the sleeping form of her boyfriend, then turned to beat a hasty retreat, feeling good about herself. Victory, however, would be short-lived, and Susie would soon find herself wishing that their friends would hurry up and come out of that room already. Susie Sausagehead had made her way about halfway down the icy stairs leading from their friend's apartment to the parking lot, which was currently covered in about 6 inches of fresh, soft snow. Susie felt pretty good about herself, feeling kind of like the snow surrounding her, in fact. Like the snow, she felt clean, light, free, and righteous. The snow was justified in occupying its place on the ground, and Susie was justified in her actions to include the snow in her demonstration. She smiled at the thought of having the innocent snow play accomplice in her scheme, and figured she'd pay back the favor by playing in the snow when she returned to her place. Heck, she might even build a snow angel. Sheesh, how long had it been since she did that, or built a snowman for that matter? Susie was so wrapped up in her snowbound fantasies that she failed to hear the careful, stealthy footfalls advancing down the stairs behind her. By the time Susie noticed the growing human-shaped, boyfriend-shaped shadow behind and slightly to her right, it was too late. Susie Sausagehead did not need to turn around to know who was behind her. She wanted to keep going. Move faster! Get to the chopper! But like Peter Pan's shadow, Susie's body always found a way to betray her at the worst times. Today would be no exception, because instead of Susie becoming fleet of foot, she froze. Not only did she freeze, but she froze and turned to look at who was advancing on her six. Again, Susie knew who it was, and her brain made another note to fire everyone from the neck down. She first noticed the fire in her boyfriend's eyes. He was still drowsy and hungover, but oh my goodness, was there fire in those eyes. Susie, for her part, smiled. Yes, she actually smiled and tried to greet the man, whose upper body was clearly damp from where his wet clothes had landed moments before. And while Susie Sausagehead stood 2 steps from the parking lot, not moving, her boyfriend got close enough to her to say in a low voice, "You know what you did, and I don't want to wake everybody up, so don't scream." The next thing Susie Sausagehead knew, she had a firm hand wrapped around her neck. Any other time, this move would have been seen as a prelude to hugging and kissing in a special way, and she actually had the nerve to think she was getting off that easy. That was until his other hand grabbed the back of her down jacket and she was lifted off her feet. He turned Susie's body 180 degrees, and with this, she was no longer facing him. Now he was at her back, and she was facing the parking lot again. She was pulled into her boyfriend's body, one hand remaining on her neck, while the other was now hugging her underneath her armpits. This prevented her from gagging or suffocating, but screaming was out of the question due to the upward angle his hand had forced her head to hold. His mouth was also now whispering distance from her ear, and he began to express his disapproval of her actions using very colorful language. As they entered the parking lot, Susie was pleased to find that her brain had somehow convinced the rest of her body that it was okay to start moving again, and even fight back. With this, Susie's legs and feet took the lead in the rebellion as she began to kick at her boyfriend's legs. She landed a couple of solid blows and was released from her boyfriend's grasp. Susie met the snowy ground on her butt because she was not expecting to be released and was mid-kick when it happened. And wouldn't you know it, once again, her body failed her. Susie Sausagehead sat on that snowy ground just 1 second too long. And as she was thinking about gaining her footing again, one of her legs was grabbed. She looked up at her boyfriend as he began to walk backwards with her right leg in both hands. Susie fell back onto the soft, white parking lot snow and began to panic. She started begging him to turn her loose, waving her arms frantically, trying to grab at objects that did not exist. There was nothing for her to hold on to that would prevent her from being dragged around in the snow by one leg. Her boyfriend would go about 10 paces one direction, then turn around and move 10 paces in the next. Susie's body traced a macabre trail in the soft snow, and her weird brain somehow started making connections that she did not want to think about at the time. Not least of these thoughts was that she was indeed playing in the snow, but instead of that perfect snow angel she had imagined, she was instead making a hood angel. The end.